So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live streamathon and I'm first. So welcome everybody. Happy New Year. This is going to go on for the next few hours. So we need some matchsticks for our eyes. And we got our champagne for midnight. Have we all got our champagne or our tipple? I think I'll probably have a cup of tea in a minute. So what I thought I would do for 2017 is my little book of colours. And I think a lot of people have seen my little book of colours. But I thought I would go through it because I've only got an hour. So I thought if I go through this and do a giveaway, that'll start the day off with a bang. Hopefully not an Alfie ban. Is that okay? So I made my little book of colours from a very old photo album, quite a few years now. And it's when, and I forget what things are called, so you'll have to forgive me. Just have a look. They are labelled. The Peerless watercolours came out in little squares. And I'd seen a video in the 90s, very early 90s, late 80s, of the Derwent watercolour pencils of a gentleman called David Cook, who was a wildlife artist, but he used the Derwent watercolour pencils. And he brought out this video, which I still have, and he did little squares of colours in the back of his sketchbook, so he didn't have to take his pencils when he went on location, and he was on the riverbank and by the sea. So the pencils stayed at home, but he still had a few colours with him to do some watercolour sketching. And so I think Jenny Belly made a little one as well when she was going to Italy. And I'd got the Inktense pencils, the Derwent watercolour Inktense pencils. And they have a little water brush mark here. And anything that has a water brush mark, and it's a pencil or a crayon, and it's fairly good quality pigment, will go in this little book. I labelled everything, and that was because, you know, I use it quite a lot. And this is Leaf Green 116. So I have a look at Leaf Green 116. And I can't find it. I can't find it. I don't know why I can't find it. Oh, because it's here. Because if you look at the ends of these colours, sometimes you can't always see them. So I kind of start scribbling if it's looking a little bit depleted. And that's going to last me another year or so. So I've put my 72 watercolour pencils in little squares in my little book. And it kind of fell to bits and looked rather, I cut lots of things up and it looked rather ugly, and it was kind of getting a little bit scruffy, as is that one. When I found a photo album from Paperchase, and I thought, ooh, that would be quite good, because what you can do with this, if I can keep it level down, is a cheap piece of photocopy paper, which of course I cannot find now I want. And if you fold it long ways, and tear it in half, and then fold that one in half again, you end up with a page. So you can slide that into the space that's for a photograph, and you have your first and second page of your little book of colours. And whatever you put on this page with some good quality sketching paper is protected by this plastic case here, and everything that's on this page is protected by this plastic. So you turn that page over and you fold another piece of paper. Now you don't put the colours on this photo paper, and you slide that one into there, and that gives you another 2 pages. And there is a slight gap just at the top of each page, and that allows you to cut a small slither of paper and label each side. And then you can put some double-sided sticky tape and you can label all your colours. So the sketch paper I use has a watermark on it, if I can find it. I actually made my little squares because I thought mine would drop to bits after a few days. After a few weeks. I thought as soon as I kind of start wetting this and using it as a watercolour, as long as you're not too wet with your colours and you can use them with a fairly dry brush, you can use a nice quality sketchbook paper. So you can make the squares and stick them onto that page, and again they're protected by this. And then on the other side you need some more colours, and they're stuck on that side, which is protected by this page. And then you keep doing the same thing until you've filled your book full of colours, and it will allow you to add 2 pages in between each one, because a photograph is thick to go in between each one. So you should end up with a really, really neat little book of watercolours. I've done quite a few colours, and I label them, because again, if you label them and you do a colour swatch down the side, each colour then becomes 10 shades. So if you have the 72 Derwent watercolour pencils, you have 720, because you have 10 shades from every pencil. If you have the 72 Ink Tense pencils, you have another 720 colours. If you have the 24 Graphy Tint from Derwent, which are lovely muted colours, you have another 240. So you can end up with quite a lot of colours and shades. And that's nothing to do with actually using the colours and mixing them on a palette to make different colours. So literally you've got thousands of colours in a little book. And I thought everybody should make one. I also decided, and I did put it on actually a card, I put it on, you can get watercolour postcards, and they're perfect because they just need to be a little bit stronger than the other pages. I took the pan of colour out of the little pans you get from the watercolour pans from Winsor & Newton, and I cut the bottom 2mm off. You can just see, do it that way. You can just see there's 2mm of the colours, and then I just stuck them on with ordinary white PVA glue, and I now have professional watercolours in my little book, and I can use them very neat if I want to do some dark colours. And again, that gives you, if you use a plastic sheet on this side, that gives you hundreds of other colours as well. So you can actually work with professional watercolours. So that's given me quite a few colours, but basically you need a cadmium yellow and you need a lemon yellow. Yellow ochre is quite good. Sap green's normally in a good set of watercolours. Viridian is a deep dark green. Cerulean blue is good for some very light bright greens. Cobalt blue is quite nice. French ultramarine is perfect for purples. Cadmium red is very good for oranges. It's a cold red. Crimson red and Cerulean crimson and Elysian crimson are very good for pinks and purples. And then you normally get a burnt sienna and a raw umber. And so I can actually make quite a lot of colours on here. I did try some pastels and Inktense blocks, but they're a little bit too chalky really. But they are in there and you can use them. And there's the Peerless, which again are very vibrant and they've lasted quite a long time. But again, each square you get at least 10 shades from there. So they're very vibrant and wonderful for colouring books. And there's a lot of bright colours in that selection. I've got the 72 Derwent colour pencils, which are really lovely to colour, and they're quite vibrant as well. I've tried to keep them in colour order because it's easier to refill them, so some you can see have been used a bit more than others. And I've got the 72 Inktense pencils, and apologies, they might be a bark. I've also got some light washes from Derwent. They do water-soluble pencils and water-soluble graphites and graphitones. Anything that's for a light wash that has this pencil paintbrush sign will go in here. So you can do some lovely pencil washes for sketching if you wanted to do that while you were out and about. So there's the 72 Inktense pencils, and they are extremely vibrant and very bright colours. I've been in touch with Derwent to actually bring out a little book, so they might actually bring out their own colours. The Graphitint is a Derwent, and these are beautiful muted colours. So they're like a pencil, but they have a colour through them, so they're really, really unusual. There's some Prismalo. Again, they have a little water brush mark on them, so they're in there. The Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 crayons. I think there's 140 in the set, the full set. I don't have the full set, and I didn't do a colour swatch, but they've been in there for a long time. And I put, I think it's deli paper, greaseproof paper between, just to protect them and to keep the colours separate. So that if they are shut when it's wet, they're not going to contaminate each other. There's the Derwent metallics. So again, they're nice for metallic work. And there's Caran d'Ache metallics in a pencil form as well. Here we have I can't think of the name, Faber-Castell crayons, watercolour sticks. These are very vibrant. I only have a set of 10, but they are gorgeous colours. And then we come to the PH Dr. Martens Hydrus. These are professional watercolours, and I just put a drop onto there. They're at the back actually. And they did smudge, but there's a lot of colour on there. So I've kept that in there because you just need a touch. This was a bit of an experiment, professional gouache, Winsor & Newton gouache. And I have the full set of 36 Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolours, including the gold. which I actually used yesterday, and it's a really nice colour. It's quite metallic. It is quite metallic, and it does give a gold effect. So that's quite nice to have. And again, they've lasted a long time. There's just some little fat puddles of colour. And I think just recently, Kuretake have actually brought out their own little pans, because the beautiful watercolours, but they're in a huge box that of pans that tip out, and so they were forever on the floor, so I made them to go in my little book. I do have some pastels as well. I put a full set of pastels in there, so you can experiment with what you've got to make a little book. But it's very handy, and it's very portable, and you can sit on the sofa and colour, so you don't have all your things out. But actually, if you probably couldn't get all the supplies I have here on one desk, because they would be everywhere. So it's a handy little book to flip through and choose a colour, instantly start colouring. You don't have to think, oh well, that's in that tin and that's in that drawer. You can just get your paintbrush and start colouring. So I thought I would give away 4. I found this little pouch as well. It's a Paper Chase zipper file, and it's only a little plastic one, but it seems to hold the little book and a few paintbrushes or a water brush, and it will also hold an A5 sketchbook. So I thought that would be quite nice. And so I thought I would give 4 of those away. Now they don't have any colours in them, but if anybody doesn't have anything, then I can put some in, but it does take it out of me a bit. But the idea I love is that you use your own stash, and so people are not going out, rushing out and spending lots of money, because I'm a tight Yorkshire lass. So they can put anything that's water-based in a crayon or a pencil in here. And they can also put, just get this little set of watercolours. This Winsor & Newton little pan set. You can take these little colours and you can prize them out very carefully, and then cut a couple of millimetres off. Let's do it that way because of the light, and then that will give you a lot of colour to play with for a good few weeks. Whoops. So I could probably make one of this page for anybody, so at least they've got a few hundred colours to be going on with if they didn't have any of the others. But this is quite a nice little set, because if you get a piece of plastic packaging on children's toys, fairly stiff would be good, and stick it on that side, you've got a palette on this side. The only thing you've got to remember is you've got to wipe it and clean it and dry it before you shut it onto your colours, because you'll contaminate them. But as long as this is dry, you can shut that as many times as you want, and they can be wet as long as there's no other colours on this side. These can be wet and you can shut it. And the same with every page. You can be waiting for the doctors at the hospital and it's wet, you shut it. It's fine, as long as there's nothing on that side, or as long as the colour on that side coincides with what's on the other side. And as long as they can't contaminate each other, your colours will stay fresh from the day you actually do them. Has anybody got any questions? So what time are we on now? So we've got, oh, I just thought that was a naughty dog under there, but it isn't. So you can make big squares or little squares, or if you want to do large watercolors. You can't be too wet because this is just sketchbook paper, but you can get a fair amount of color off there. And I did used to use a watercolor brush on this paper, although it is very good quality sketchbook paper. But what you want is about 140 to 160 sketchbook paper, but you want one that's got a little water brush mark next to it, and it means that you can use extra water, and that seems to last the longest. But I originally put little squares because I thought if they dropped to bits I could just replace one instead of replacing the whole page. So you can make the actual colours on any size you want, depending on what particular colours you've got. You may want to have a lot of graphic tint colours and a lot of pencil washes, because these are quite lovely to use. I'm just trying to think if I've got a paintbrush now. I tend to use well, my husband's put my laptop on my water pot. But you can just take a little bit of colour and you can do a water sketch. I'm going to have to dip it into my water. So if you were doing a sketch, you could do a water sketch. That's the medium wash from Derwent, and that can be shut wet because it's got a plastic side on there. This is a dark wash. So anybody that wants to do some lovely washes, pencil washes or ink washes, they look quite inky actually, they do look nice. I found some odd pencils that have had this little water brush mark on them, but I tend to be rather strange that if I have a little water brush mark on anything, it goes in here. These are the Graphitone. I think Derwent did some really thick paints in a stick, and as long as it's fairly good quality pigment, then you're going to get a nice amount out of a square. So I say I made some little squares, and once you've made all your squares, you can sit and watch TV and colour them in, and then write all the names on them, and then do a colour swatch next to them, so you know when you're looking through here, if you want a certain colour, you know that you want a brush that's got a little bit of dampness, but you want a little bit of colour. If you want a very pale colour, if you look at the deep ones, so if you wanted a very pale colour, then you want a damp brush, but you just want the tiniest amount of colour from here, and yet you're going to get that lovely pale colour, but that's the colour of your pencil. So if you do use your colours from your pencil, which you can do, you don't have as much control. You have a lot more control over the colour because it's actually on a palette. So you're controlling the amount of water and you're controlling the amount of pigment, because that's all this is. It's pigment. It's no longer a pencil. It's pigment on a page. Am I supposed to be reading chat? So Happy New Year, everybody, and I hope everybody has a wonderful New Year, and you should all make a little book. So I think for the first 4, because I have some of these cards, I will make the little, if I can get hold of these, little Winsor & Newton little sets of pans. I can make a couple of these. They probably won't have as many of these on, but we'll definitely have the 6 main colours. They'll have the 2 reds, the 2 yellows, and the 2 blues, because that's normally in a proper set. Oh, hi Topaz. Gosh, there's so many people. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm first. Welcome to our New Year's Streamathon. Happy New Year. Hope everybody's got all their supplies ready to do our colouring or our artwork or journaling or anything else we want to do. So I'm going to do the giveaway now because I'm not sure how it's going to go and I haven't got long. So this is what my book looks like, but your little book will arrive looking like this. I probably won't put the pages in because everybody has copy paper, unless you tell me you don't have anything, in which case I'll try and put something in. But the idea, hopefully, is that you use what you've got and what you like using. You may not like Derwent pencils, you may not like other things, but you may love your Caran d'Ache, or you may like your Dr. Martin's Hydrus, so you can put in whatever you want. I did drop the Hydrus just in the plastic and then shut it up, but you need a little label at either side so you can pull your pages apart. But the colour still stays very vibrant, and as long as you dry them flat at one side, they will go to the other side, but they won't smudge. So your blue will always be with blue and your greens will always be with greens. So there's a little book there and a little zippy pouch to go with it, because I thought that might be just light enough. But they are from Paper Chase, but I couldn't find them on the store in the UK, online in the UK, but I found them on the store. So Happy New Year. We all got our tipples. Excuse the noise, but everybody's home, so it's difficult for me to do things. So what time are we on now? Just want to say, hey up, and pin back your lug oils, because I've got something to tell you. I'm going to try and do some digital art in the new year because my hands don't work very well. And I thought I would be able to work with a little brush on some kind of tablet so that I can still draw and do art. So hopefully I'll be able to draw and then I'll be able to colour it in. So that's my New Year's surprise for me that I'm going to do. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. This is going to work. How are we hurting cats? I know Alfie can hurt cats because he's good at hurting cats because he nips tails. I couldn't believe it yesterday. Toffee had a green paw and I was trying to hold her live while I was recording, and he came up and nipped her tail. She was not a happy girl, I can tell you. So could I ask for help with the giveaway, because I'm very pants at this and it's going to fly past. So are we all ready for our first New Year's giveaway? Oh gosh, that was strange. Oh look, Alfie, can we give Alfie away? Alfie, can we give Alfie away? Yes, we can give Alfie away. He's been upstairs on his own. That's not a good sign. And he's left the door open. Bless him. Right, are we okay? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Let's hurt cats. No, let's smack Alfie.
What are you doing?
Right, so my daughters have got the test. Oh, that's the old dog. Oh my goodness. Right, so if I say go, everybody puts a number in, 1 to 100, and I'm having to copy DD, sorry, because it's the easiest way I know and it works. And so if I type in go, then everybody can put a number in. Does that sound about right? You're all ready, are you? We're all ready. Okay then. I shall type in go. Right, so if everybody puts a number in between 1 and 100, and the same rules as DD, because that makes it easier for everybody, that if you are not over the number. Did I make that as clear as mud? So it's only a small giveaway, but it's a unique. Apart from Carol, it's a unique little thing, which you can. Oh, Suzanne wants Alfie. Yes, that can be arranged. I'm not sure he'll be getting the post box though, bless him. Right, so have we finished? Has everybody put a number in that wants to be entered for our giveaway? Now I do have 4. So do we do 4 different ones, or do we do 4 up to, on the number and up to the number? I think that's probably the easiest, isn't it? And nobody got any ads, because that's really annoying. Yes, closest without going over. Thank you, Dee Dee. So I think we'll do the 4 all together, shall we? Yep, closest without going over. So I think everybody's. Has everybody put a number in between 1 and 100 for our little first New Year giveaway? Just do 4 randoms, but oh, with the numbers you've already got. Okay then, yep, okay. There could be. Do you want it when you finish? Yes, darling, thank you. My daughter's just cooking lunch for us. Right, does anybody else want to put in very quick before I say thop? We're doing a quick giveaway, so if nobody's got any ads or anything, because I have double ads on mine. It's really bad. So this is our New Year first Streamathon giveaway for 2017. Did Marie get a number in? What time is it? So everybody's happy. Shall I stop now? Do we think everybody's put a number in that wants one? If somebody types stop, then I'll stop. If we think everybody's had enough time. Okay then. Right. So I've got this. So I've just pressed that generate number and we'll see what comes up. Oopsie. So I've got 72. So we need the 4 nearest without going over 72. Oh, did you say do 4 different ones, Jean? Which is going to be easiest to do 4 different. You keep the same numbers, but I do 4 different randoms. Do you think that's the? Do you think that's the best way to do it? I've only had an hour's sleep today, so the brain's definitely the brain's not working. Right, I'll do 4 randoms. So we'll do the first one, which is 72. Nearest to 72 without going over. So Burn Pink is 70. So if I give you my email address, you can email me your address. That makes sense, doesn't it? Is that how we do it? Oh, Happy New Year to you, Terry. Bye. Enjoy yourself. So Mildred was 70 as well. So Mildred had 70. And did somebody else have 70 as well? Who else had 70? So Mildred was the nearest with 70. So what's Mildred's proper name on there? Because I get confused. Oh, Mildred is Bip. Sorry. Okay. Right, so I'll press the buttons again and then you keep your same numbers, okay? So let's just press that again. 95. So we need nearest to 95 without going over. So, there's a 70, there's a 75. Is that the nearest one? Oh, Carrie Ann had 80. Is 80 the nearest? So Carrie Ann is 80. It was 80, so that's the second one. Okay. Could you just shut the door, darling, for me, please? Thank you. Thanks, darling. I miss Carrie Ann's, but if I put my email address at the bottom, everybody can email me. That's the better idea, isn't it? Right, we need to do this again. Is everybody ready again? Are we okay? Right. So Carrie Ann was the second one, and we need another one now. 43. So 43 and not going over. So do we have 43 and not going over? So I Carry Love had 42. So I Carry is right, and the last one, fingers crossed, is 74. So we need 74 not going over. Let's carry one again. Did you want to, or shall I do it again? Am I missing something? So who's next? Sorry, oops. Sorry, I don't know what's going on in there. So Cherub Lulu is number 4. Well, thank you guys. That took that took time to. Is everybody happy? Is everybody happy? So I shall put my email address in the box. Shall I put it in this box now? Would that be better? Yes, I've got Mildred, Carrie Ann, I Carrie, and Lulu. Well done, everybody. Well done. So there'll be a little package coming along. So if I put my email address here. If you want to email me your address, and just tell me if you don't have any colours at all that will go in, I'll put some colours in for you. Yeah, and my daughter's just put the dog in the blender. Samantha, shut the door, darling, please. Thank you. So where's Alfie going then? Where's Alfie going? Did I just put did my email address not fly past? I can put it in at the end again, can't I? Yeah, Alfie's got to stop here then. Okay then. So that's my email address again. So if you email me your address and tell me if you're desperate for anything in particular, or if you have a lot of supplies. I think most people have probably got more than I have. So thank you for joining me, and welcome to our first New Year's Streamathon. And Dee Dee is on in 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Yes, almost 20 minutes. We've got 20 minutes left. So I should put my little post-it note on there. I think all the giveaways are all separate, are they, Jean? I'm not sure. I presume they're all. You want me to colour for you? Okay. Well, I was desperate to finish my little hobby horse, but dare I get these out again? So I've got some liquid hydrous. Do you want me to do that for 20 minutes? I do have a paintbrush, and I have a pint pot of I don't know what my daughter did with it. She's put it somewhere. Could you shut the door, darling, please? Thank you. So I hope you've all had fun, and we've all got our champagne on ice. Have we all got all our champagne on ice? Oh, the streamers will want to have the big coffee pots ready to keep us all awake. Yep. So Dee Dee's on in 20 minutes. So we need to put Dee Dee's link in when I finish, so everybody can pile over to see and watch Dee Dee. So thanks for stopping by, everybody, and I hope you've all had a pleasant morning, afternoon or evening, depending on where you're on the planet. So I dropped my hydras into this little pot. So I've got phthalo green and phthalo blue. So I'm kind of just having a bit of a dip into both. And that's giving me a quite nice and unusual colour. So I'll zoom in very quickly. So is everybody happy with that? Is everybody okay? You want to see my Harry Potter? I've got tight Yorkshire lass. I've got paint on here. So I just have to and all I do is just a damp brush and just tease that colour through. And if you're really lucky, you end up where you finished off last time. And so you've got a seamless join there, or a colourless join. Did everybody not see what I did earlier? Because Alfie kind of upset everything yesterday. Oopsie. I've been playing with the blendable pens because Amy's going away back to university. So I photocopied, because you do need to photocopy the Chameleon pens. Oops. So there's a little bit of a Kirby Roseanne's. And again, they do go through. But the Chameleon blendable pens are really good. But I quite like the image sometimes on the other side. That's the one I did yesterday and finished off this morning. But I do like the blendable pens. They do kind of work quite well. And they're very easy to use. So I'm all for ease. The pens just glide across the page, and these kind of glide across the pages. I haven't decided what I'm going to do in this one yet. Has anybody coloured this one? I think it'll be the Derwent watercolour pencils, because there's some big spaces. So this is going to look quite fantastic. Oh, thank you, Judy. Thank you. I can't decide. I like different books and I do different things in different books. But the Chameleon pens, on their website, they have said they have brought out a colour book. I haven't seen it yet, and it's spiral bound, so you can actually turn the whole thing over and work, whoopsie, and then kind of just work on it. And I think that's a brilliant idea. So they've really thought about colourists as well, rather than just throwing out some. I don't know what I've done with them now. Oh, there they are. But the only problem is these are going to they're going to university with my daughter, because I bought them for her because I couldn't really justify just for me. And she's doing illustration and animation, so of course she's got 200 colours potentially, and more if she mixes the colours together. She's got more than 200 colours in a little box like this. And so they are fab if you don't want to take a big, you can sit at the lounge and have 200 colours here on the sofa and not have a huge bag with pens flowing all over the place. They brought a set of 50 out, but I think they're a little bit pricey. But the fab thing is, for one is they're so easy if you've got arthritis with your hands, because they are chunky, so you can just pull them apart and push them together. And you're taking the top off to do a whole flower. So if you want to do a whole flower, you've got one pen top to take off instead of 10. So I always think that's quite nice. What was the first one that I did? So the first one that I ever did before my daughter took them away was this one. And the first time I made a mistake, I didn't count enough. The second time I counted too much. But by the time I got round the flower, I'd done each colour. I just about managed to get the right amount of highlight where I wanted it. That was the second one that I ever did, which I really liked. And again, oops, you've got to think about, do you want a lot of light? Is the petal above something or below it? And then you can start to think more creatively. That was the third one that I did, which is actually upside down. And again, you can think of colour. So each flower was made from one pen. So that's the purple and that's the purple. So you can get different shades out of it depending on how much you use. So if you do a pale pink one with a lot of blended solution in them, or you can do a little amount. That was quite a nice way to work, very pale. A bit of a play about with different things and mixing colours. That was inspired by Dee Dee ages ago with the dark, and I thought that would look quite good. And I did the first one with skin and flesh and hair. So it's really lovely to do hair. And you can start with a highlight, and if you want less of a highlight, you count less, and it's the same space, but one is a lot darker than the other. So eventually, after a bit of a play, and they're the only ones that I have done, I'll show you this in a moment, until I did this one a couple of days ago and finished it off this morning. So they're really quite easy to use, and you start to think about light and shadow, and I thought they'd look really, really good. And then I love the wings on the Kirby Roseanne's Magical Creatures. I think those are going to look really good. But you do have to photocopy them on a printer paper that doesn't smudge. So I was talking about my Eco Tank, which you get some rather large bottles of ink, and you fill the tanks up that sit on the side of your printer, and they last you 2 years. And that has to be awesome, especially when you've got teenagers. So thank you very much. We're nearly getting to the time where Dee Dee will be here. So if we're not having drinks, I'll very quickly leave you with the official Chameleon pens. Has anybody got any questions? Oh, hi Grammy, hi everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome to almost the end of the first stream for our Streamathon. So that means I can now go sit and have a drink and watch everybody else, but I'll be pickled. I'll be pickled by midnight. So I hope everybody's ready and we've all got some awesome things. So welcome to everybody that I've missed, and I hope you all have a pleasant day. We're going to have a lot of fun, hopefully. And Alfie's behaved himself, bless him. So do have a pop over and have a look at these. They're really good if you haven't got very good hands. They're fab. So I'll keep waffling until somebody puts the link in for Dee Dee, and then everybody can just press that and disappear, and we'll all herd across to Dee Dee in about 10 minutes. Oh, thank you, Grammy. Thank you. I hope I wasn't too boring, but it is quite early, so so I hope you enjoyed yourself, and we'll be having a look. Did everybody get my email address? The ladies that won the giveaways. And we need to put DD's link in, because the last person of the stream puts the next person's link in, or somebody does for them, so that everybody can just be herded. And Alfie will be biting your tails if you don't get there quick enough. No. Thank you, Kerry. So these pens are huge. I think I said they were 8.5 inches in length, but they're quite chunky. They're almost an inch and a bit, so they're really easy and chunky to use. And with the lovely box, you just kind of sit them. I think this box won an award. I'm pretty sure it did. I think it won an award for the best design, because it just sits and you just put your pens back. And you've got the blender pen, which is double-ended like them all, with a bullet end and a brush end. And you have the lovely detailer, which is 0.4mm and 0.6mm. And so you can draw, and it's permanent ink, so you can draw your own designs and then you can colour them in. But I love them because the nibs are replaceable. The blendable chamber is refillable, and the alcohol ink colour is also is in bottles and is refillable. So it is completely reusable once it's empty and once the nibs have finished, which as a tight Yorkshire lass is perfect. So Happy New Year, and we'll see you all at DD's. They are permanent alcohol ink markers, but you get one pen and there's a chamber to drop some clear blending solution in, and it makes them pale, and depending on how long you stand it upright, it makes it right back to a very pale. So out of every pen you get 10 colours. And that's what gave me the idea out of my little book, that even though I only have a few hundred in here, I've actually got a few thousand, because they're all times 10. Because out of every little square in my book, you can get 10 colours, 10 shades. You can get 10 shades out of here. And you can blend the colours together. So the possibilities are endless. So has anybody else got any questions quick before we finish? So thank you for joining me on our first Streamathon of 2017. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for watching.